listening to the Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is Ian.
I'm the Great Buddha. Yeah? No?
No.
Do you know who he is?
I remember the name, but I don't remember.
He's a spit and mist.
Oh, well, yeah, I just didn't reckon.
Yeah,
no. Okay, well,
I am the
whatever.
Great
You're not. So, it doesn't matter.
I'm Daryl.
But this is the Announcer's Table presented by RingIcon.com. You can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/RingIcon. And today is Monday,
Builder.
so it's Promotion Builder.
Yep.
And we talked about last week, we talked about going digital and different things you can do to update your promotion and things like that. And one of the things we mentioned was websites. And we said we were going to go into more detail. And that's what today is.
Yep.
Websites.
So today we're talking about websites. I'm going to pull some stuff up here. We're going to go over each individual thing on what you need. On this particular show, we're going towards the promotion and how it can help benefit the promotion.
All right.
I feel and you feel that all promotions need some form of website that fans can go to that has like the roster, that has stuff like that people can see, can really relate to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, beyond your Facebook page, you need to have an individual promotion website where people can go to get updates and things like that. That's not clouded with drama from Facebook or something, So websites are a great way to promote your organization. And also, when you do create your website, then you can give that out to everybody. You can put it on search engines. You can also put it on wrestling forums and things like that.
When your flyers are out there, so people can, if they're not able to come to the show, they can keep up on your website, because it's always good to have updated card information and like what happened, like results. This is what happened at last week's show, or this is what happened at last month's show. However often y'all have y'all show. So these things are very important if you want to have a good promotion, if you want the promotion to start building a name and people get excited to be behind it. These are very important steps to do.
Yeah. So let's go right into it. What I'm going to talk about is actually the whole idea of a website, because some people might not understand what goes into a website. It is a lot more than just typing in a name in the search bar and finding it.
In a Facebook fan page kind of thing. It's very different.
It's a lot different. It's a lot more customizable, and you get your branding out there.
Exactly.
So the first thing you need is a domain name. A domain name is what you would type in the address bar at the top. It usually ends in a .com. You can also get other things like .us, .edu. Well, you can't get an edu unless you're education. But there's other things like .tv. So you can get other things, but the whole idea is that you want something that people are going to remember, and something that's simple. You don't want a website, like we're the greatest wrestling promotion in the world.com. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to want to. Nobody's going to want to write that out. Even though I think I might just go and grab that.
So like ours is ringicon.com. WWE is WWE.com.
Right.
TNA is impactwrestling.com. So I mean, these are things that is short, sweet, just right to the point. You know what you're going for. A Ring of Honor is like ROH.com.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are things you want to think about. When you're going for a website name.
Yeah, and so you'll really be you'll test out a lot. There are going to be a lot that are taken.
Yeah.
We went through, before we found Ring Icon. We went through maybe 20 or 30 different names, and some were taken, and we had a million different ideas for the name of it, but Ring Icon really stuck, and we had the domain for it. So I mean, that's how we got ringicon.com. But that's the domain. I do want to say that 90% of the time you do need to pay for the domain, and it is a yearly cost, and usually they start at $9.99 a year.
Yeah.
That's almost a given that you will have to pay for that. Very few, we're going to get into hosting and things like that, but very few websites will let you just have a free domain unless you purchase something else.
Yeah.
So the bare minimum you're going to have to pay for anything is $9.99 usually to get one domain
Yeah,
name.
for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That's not bad. You're gonna have your own website
Right.
and everything for a year.
Right.
Okay. Now, there's probably gonna be a lot of people that are like, you know what, I just can't. I'm not tech savvy. I can't do this stuff.
Right.
Okay. I guarantee you, there's somebody around you that can, that
Right.
knows a little bit or can point you in a direction. Like, I mean, if I ever have issues, I go to Ian. Okay, and Ian's able to fix all my, well, not all my problems. I have a lot of problems, but all my computer technical problems, he's able to fix.
Right.
So, I mean, there's someone out there that's close to you or can point you in the right direction of somebody who can help you set this up.
And a lot of the websites we're going to talk about in a little bit, they have some of the most amazing customer service because that's what they're in the business for. They have really good customer service to help you build your website, to help you pick out the right things. So don't be afraid to give them a call, because they will help you do whatever, because they want your business. They don't want you to leave. So they do have really good customer service.
Well, let's talk about web hosting.
Okay, so what web hosting is how the web works is that you have 1 million computers all over the world and they're connected. So for someone to view a website, it needs to download the images and things like that from a computer. Well, you don't want to host it on your computer because your computer's not on all the time. So you don't want people pulling the website from your computer. Web hosting, I know this is getting deep, but web hosting just means that you're storing files in the world of the internet. You're on basically a big computer somewhere in Texas that's, that probably has generators just in case the power goes out, that kind of thing. So that, you're paying, you don't have to pay. We're going to talk about some free options, but basically web hosting is the ability to store your files on someone else's computer.
Yeah.
So
it's a very important step.
Yes.
Because you want your stuff, like he was saying, to be seen, and if your computer's not on all the time, then they're not going to be able to see it all the time.
Right. So web hosting, any web company that sells a domain, they always sell web hosting to go along with it. So there are options to pay for web hosting, but then there are a lot of options for free web hosting. So we'll talk about that when we get into some of the other websites. But web hosting, basically what you're going to be looking for is the amount of space that you can use. So, your computer at home, you might have a 500 gig hard drive or 250 gig hard drive in your computer. Well, these computers have unbelievable amounts of memory, but they give you a little portion of it. So they might give you 50 gigabytes or something along that line to be able to store your files on.
Yeah.
So
now let's talk about something I feel that is really important when it comes to a website is web design.
Right.
All right. And we've seen it. There's good sites and there's bad sites. Okay. And if you don't know what you're doing, please find somebody that can do something that knows what they're doing and
Right.
can make it look good. Because there's nothing worse than a bad website. It
Yeah.
looks horrible. It's not good. We're not going to name any names, but then there's some websites we look at. We're like, that's a really good website, and we're impressed by it. So let's talk about some web design.
Yeah, web design. Basically, most websites are written in a code called HTML. That really doesn't matter to you, but if it does, if you understand HTML or if you don't, then basically web design, you're going to create a page that looks appealing, that has all the features that you want. Some features you might not get right away. Some things you might have to wait a little while and learn a little more about websites and things like that before you can implement it. But like Daryl said, is that the design aspect of it is very important. If you can't design it yourself, there are a million templates that you can just kind of pop in your images and things like that and change some colors around, and it'll make it your own. So web design, you can do it on your own, and you can make it look really good. I mean, but then again, if you try to do it on your own and it turns out really bad, don't be afraid to ask somebody for help.
Yeah. So now let's sum all this up before we go into like the different companies you can go to. One, how this could benefit your brand, okay? Because remember, it all comes down to your brand and how you market yourself and how you get yourself out there. It can do nothing but help. It's not going to hinder it unless it's just a really bad website.
Right.
But I mean, for the most part, it's not going to hinder it. It's going to help. It's going to help you be able to promote. You can be able to run contests on there, talk about upcoming shows, upcoming events, upcoming superstars. If you're able to pull a big name and they're going to be at your show, well, you want to broadcast that on every platform you can.
Right.
All right. But a website is always good to have, so it can get people talking and coming to it and checking out the results of like other shows. I know we have a couple shows that we try to follow, and so we go to their websites and try to check out updates and results, and just so we're in the know of like these particular, because we're friends with these organizations. So that's important. All right, it's going to help you. It's not going to hinder you. That's what you need to realize, and that's what you need to remember. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, to get somebody to help you do it.
Yeah. And, if you have any questions about it, you can always send me a message. My email address is iancarson@ringicon.com. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have, and I'll help you out the best I can.
Yep. And Ian did do a lot of schooling for, computer stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I pretty much put together ringicon.com. So, I mean, there are some features that I love on RingIcon. There's some features that I'm not crazy about, and we're always trying to improve. So that's how you got to look at it. Start out with something basic that that you enjoy, but then you can always build onto it, because that's the great thing about a website.
Exactly.
Is it's always evolving. You always need new information and new features and new things going on. So.
All right, well, let's talk about some of these companies. Some of these companies you have to pay for. Some of these companies are free. You want to go with number one?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest name out there right now, everybody's kind of heard of it, is GoDaddy.com. They've had a big marketing campaign of selling things.
Yeah.
Basically, GoDaddy, there are a million different features, and they have some of the best customer service. I've worked with them in the past with a couple websites, and they have really good customer service and really will help you out. The prices are, I mean, obviously the $9.99 for the domain, and then their hosting is a little different. You do pay per year. They have a couple different options for you, so you'll be able to talk to their customer service, and maybe they'll direct you in the best way. But for a wrestling website, you could probably go with the minimum to start out with, and I believe that's the last time I checked with GoDaddy, and the last time I purchased hosting from them, it was $80 for the whole year. So that's a total of $90, and you have a whole website up. And they actually have things that they can a million templates that you can use, and they'll help you set up. And if you purchase a domain, it automatically comes with all these free templates. So I mean, there's a lot of really good things that you can do with GoDaddy.
Well, what about HostGator.com?
HostGator is one that I use now. We actually use it for RingIcon. The prices are pretty much comparable to GoDaddy, and their customer service is just as good. I haven't had any issues with them. They've called me and made sure that I was happy with everything. So they're pretty much the same thing as GoDaddy. So, I mean, there are a couple different things. They have a couple different templates and things like that you can incorporate. So.
Okay. What about Wix.com? Wix.com.
Wix.com, theirs is a little different because they do just purely a monthly plans. So sometimes it could come out a little higher. Some are a little lower. You can pay like $4 a month, and you'd have web hosting and a domain name. That comes out a little cheaper than the others for a whole year. But at the same time, I haven't worked directly with them, but they do have a lot of templates and things you can do from there.
All right. What about webs.com?
Webs.com, they actually have a free version where they can set you up with a free website, and you can purchase the domain name, or I believe you can use basically a subdomain, which is subdomain's a little different. What it is that it'll be whatever you want it to be. Greatest wrestling promotion in the world .webs.com, and so that's an option. You can always go with a free domain, which would be a subdomain of another website. So I mean that's not really bad. So you could have ringicon.webs.com. That's not awful, but it's still just one little step that could deter somebody.
Yeah.
So,
and because people aren't used to putting .something.com,
right?
It's not natural sounding like,
right?
Because we're just not used to
and that's another thing I wanted to say is that try to get the .com, because that's what most people associate with. If they forget the extension at the end, they're usually just going to put in .com.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think to put in .net or .org
or .tv or
right.
anything.
So try to get the .com. If you want, you can buy multiple, and just your website you can have it just show on all of them.
Yeah,
the same thing.
So like we said, it's important to have a good website. It can only help you make your brand grow and pitch you more out there. If there's anybody out there that has like other options, and obviously there's more companies in this right here.
Right.
I keep pointing over here, but they can't see that.
Right.
It's right here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million options. Just type in Google or Bing or whatever search engine you like to use. Just type in websites or free websites, and you'll find a million different options. And once you find one and you look at the pricing and things like that, always type in, that website review and see what other people think about it.
Yeah.
You always want to think about what you're doing before you go into investments.
Do research.
Right.
Okay, don't just like, it's the first one I come across, and just
Right.
do some research. We've given you some tips, but just do some research and find out for yourself and see how it goes and what works for you, because what may work for us may not work for you.
Right.
You may need more bandwidth than us or less. It's all
Right.
depending on what your needs are. So if there's anybody else out there that wants to drop some input, let us know. If you have any questions, like Ian said, shoot him an email, and he'll respond back and give you some advice.
Yeah, and you can always leave video replies.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had any video replies to our YouTube
Y'all
channel,
could be
but
the first one.
you could be. So, and that's an option. But tomorrow we're actually going to talk about websites and how the Gimmick Builder can benefit from websites and things.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, so until tomorrow, we'll see you then.